No, I'm only kidding. But without further ado, let's move over to the podcast screen and let's bring her in. Where's my audio settings? Let's unmute Discord.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing alright. How about yourself?
I'm doing good.
So that was honestly hilarious. Like, yeah, this is me dancing to this right now. Like, I know, I can see you.
I can't help it. Listen, now I like Metal Gear Solid, okay? But I can't play the first one. I don't know why. I need to, but,
How can you not play the first one?
I think it's because I had it on the PlayStation 3 at the time when I first touched it, so then it kind of threw me off, but I think if I were to have it, like, on original software, it'd be a lot better. But I never had it on the original. But that's one thing I do want to get, is the original Metal Gear Solid for it. For my PS1.
I mean, obviously I can't do anything about you getting it on original software, but I have got both the emulated version and the PC version.
I think I might want to try to get the PC version at some point. Just to give it a little try.
I think I got it. I got it sent to me. This was quite some time ago. I was contemplating learning the speedrun for it at one point. And I've not touched it.
Because I want to try to speedrun Metal Gear Solid 2, the Sons of Liberty one with Raiden and then Emma and all them. Yeah, I know that one's going to be a little bit of a hectic ride, but...
Well, I reckon that would be quite a good one to learn, actually.
Yeah, I love Metal Gear Solid. I actually just got I think it's the Phantom one.
Oh, Phantom Pain.
Fourth one? Is that the fourth one? Might be the fifth, I'm not sure.
I think it's the fourth one, yeah. I think that's actually the last one that had, what's his face, David Hayter. That's the last one that had the original Solid Snake voice actor.
Yeah, which is sad, because I was like, oh.
Well, see, funny story. So, when it was announced that David Hayter was stepping down, but they were continuing the Metal Gear Solid game franchise, now my brother is mad for Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid for him is what Resident Evil is for me. Like, if he just played one game over constantly, it would be the Metal Gear Solid series. And
that's me with Outbreak.
Well, when it was announced that David Hayter was stepping down, I was speaking to him, and he's like, who are they going to bring in that's going to be able to play that voice? And I actually predicted Keith Sutherland, because I'm a massive 24 fan, and I just think that the main character in 24, if you've never seen it, it's this bloke called Jack Bauer. He's like a proper badass. And I'm like, there's a lot of similarities between Solid Snake and Jack Bauer, so it wouldn't surprise me if it was Keith Sutherland. Lo and behold, a few months later... I mean, I'm not saying I'm psychic or anything, but, I called that one. So,
you might as well get a little ball and rub it. Be like, all right, this is what's happening.
Listen, if I say that something's going to happen, it's going to happen. I might not always be right, but I'm never wrong. So, Cloudy, firstly, I just want to say a big thank you for agreeing to come and join me tonight. I mean,
absolutely
you've seen some of the shit that I come out with on stream and some of the things that I say. So, fair play to you for having the balls. First and foremost.
Bro, listen, it's all good, okay? I enjoy your content. Your content is hilarious. So I'm just like, I gotta be there and get that jump scare in there. I gotta get it good.
Well, you see, do you know what the funny thing is? I mean, obviously, there's people in the chat that are probably more equipped to be able to tell you. But I don't actually think I'm any different off stream than what I am on stream. I'm just a bellend 24/7, to be honest with you.
No, you're good.
So, obviously, I sort of touched on there in the introduction. In terms of how things go, you're relatively new to the RPD community. I know, obviously, you've been around in my channel a lot. I've seen you in Matt's a lot. I've seen you in quite a few of the RPD team members' channels over the last sort of couple of months. First and foremost, the first question that I asked to everybody, what was it that actually brought you to Twitch in the first place?
So what brought me to Twitch in the first place was when it came to like the YouTube live streaming, it just seemed like something off because it seemed like it didn't set the right personality for people. Because it's like when you watch their original content and then you watch their live stream, it's like a big difference. And what came to me is I was randomly looking up, like, it's hilarious because I was looking up live streaming software and I saw Streamlabs. I was like, what's that from? And the next thing you know, here comes Twitch. And I was like, oh, okay. And then come to find out, my friend was a Twitch streamer.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, oh, hey. And, you know, he streams like Dead Rising and stuff like that. So then I was like, oh, I want to do that. And he's like, yeah, you can do it on Twitch. So I was like, oh, okay, sure. So I started off doing that. And then I hit affiliate on my old account. And then I kind of abandoned that account, restarted fresh. And I am where I am today right now. It was a long, hectic ride.
Obviously, if you don't mind me asking, if it's something really personal, then you don't have to go into it. But what was it that made you abandon your old account in the first place?
Well, it's not really like personal. It was more of my friend had issues going on in Twitch. There was a toxic person. Obviously, names aren't going to be mentioned. Yeah. But I stepped in to help her, which then I became that human shield for her because I'm the person that's willing to take a bullet for someone regardless of who you are. As you know, obviously, if I know you, I'm going to do it. Yeah. So I had taken that. I had made myself that human shield, and all their hate went straight to me. And I was like, listen, you can bring it my way. I don't care. Well, then it got bad, and they started, throwing hate slurs and stuff like that at me. And so I was like, you know what? They're coming at this account. I think it's time that I start brand new and start from the very beginning and see where it takes me. Because, I wouldn't have done it if I hadn't had, a big amount of support of people from Team RPD's community and you guys. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And wherever it takes me is where it takes me. If I don't get far, that's fine. At least I tried. And, we ended up hitting affiliate, so I was really happy about that. I actually hit it a lot sooner than I did on my original account, which was a big goal. I was really surprised.
It's always nice to hear, success stories like that when somebody achieves a goal a lot sooner than what they thought. Just sort of going on to, what you went through with your old account. I suppose that's the sort of bad side of Twitch is that for every good community, you're always going to get
there's always like that bad little part. Yeah, out of the good, there's always the bad. There's like got to be a counterpart to that. You can't have a perfect community without something happening. Oh, I've learned that.
I mean, obviously, I've been on the platform for a long time now. Well, I say a long time. I've been coming up close to 3 years now.
Nice.
I sort of pride myself in the fact that I've not really had a lot of bad stuff go on. Relatively in comparison to some other people anyway. I've been quite lucky there. But I also excuse me. Sorry, I just took a big swig of Pepsi and it just repeated on me. A big part of what I put that down to is the people that are around you. Because they're going to affect everything, they affect not only your community, but they also affect you as a streamer as well.
Yeah, because I don't think most people I know it's like weird to say, but I know that some people, like you obviously have the good part of your community and then you have someone that comes in to ruin everything. I don't think that person understands that will definitely affect the streamer's mental health because it will be like, first things first is you're going to panic and you're going to try to figure a way of getting the problem situated. Yeah. Which isn't always going to be like successful because obviously if they like attack once, they're going to do it again, which is sad, but that's just how it is sometimes.
Yeah. It does seem over the last month or so that Twitch has started to take steps to stop that from happening. Because I know there was a big thing recently. I say recently, we're going back potentially as far back as 12 months now, but I know there was a big thing with hate raiding going on where basically, people were getting raided and just abuse hurled at them. And like you say...
Yeah, that happened in one of the channels with Team RPD. I remember I was there for that.
Yeah. Like you said, these could just simply be immature people that are sat behind a computer with nothing better to do that for some reason take some kind of enjoyment out of it. They seem to find it amusing. They seem to get some sort of kick out of it. But, you don't know how things like that are going to affect a person.
Yeah, because you don't know what that streamer's got going on in their life. They could be having a rough moment and think that might be the way of escaping that stress. And then here comes hate raid coming to bash them, and it makes it 20 times worse, which is, it's sad, but there's people out there that's like that.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, like, a lot of people on Twitch, they sort of play in a character. They're not, and I want to be very careful with how I phrase this because I want this to come across rightly. By no means am I saying that anybody is what you'd call fake, but a lot of the times, there've been a lot of people that have said to me that the person that they come across as on Twitch is the person that they want to be, obviously outside of Twitch. That's how they would be if they had the confidence to do it, out in the open, out in the real world and whatnot. To me personally, it doesn't really have a big impact because, like I say, I'm not really any different. There's no sort of barrier put up with me. I'm very transparent. I talk a lot about what I've got going on and the things that I've experienced, etc., etc. One of the main reasons for that is that, I want it to be transparent that if somebody is experiencing something in their personal life and they're not really too sure the best way to approach it or the best way to handle it, that they could always come to me for advice. Because,
That's exactly me. I say that and I'll say it again. I'll say it like 1,000 times. I'll say it as much as I need to. If anyone ever feels like they feel left out or if something's bothering them and they need that friend and their friends aren't stepping in, I will be that friend. I'll be that one to listen in, regardless if it's stupid shit. It's like, hey, listen, if you're struggling, I'm right here. I'm all ears. I've always said this. I've said it in your stream. I've said it in Matt's stream. If anyone's ever struggling with anything, my DMs are open in Discord. My DMs are open in Twitch. I will always see it. I have my phone on me 24/7.
Yeah. And what sort of, for me, what made me decide to come across that way was a conversation that I was having with a very close friend of mine. It was a good couple of years ago now. It was before I was quite as open and honest and found it as easy to talk about things as what I do now. And he's quite a lot older than me. I want to say he's around about double my age. So I used to play pool for this man a good couple of years ago.
Oh, gotcha.
But because of the age difference, it's always been like, we got that close to a point where it was like I was a son to him and he was like a dad to me. And there's this one afternoon, I've been going through a lot. I've not spoken to anyone. I sort of cut myself off from a lot of people. And he texted me this one afternoon and he says, right, you're coming out. I said, I don't care what your excuse is. You are not saying no. If you've got no money, I'm going to pay for the beer.
Yep.
He says, we're going to go to the pub. We're going to have a few pints, a few games of pool, and you're going to talk to me and tell me what's going on. So I did.
Yep, that's usually how it is.
So I goes out, we gets a couple of beers in, and obviously we all know once you've had a couple of beers, you're a little bit more open. You're a bit more likely to talk about things, etc. And I told him what had been going on, and he just says to me, "Look, why didn't you say anything to me?" And my answer to that was, "Look, John, at the end of the day, my problems are my problems, and I'm not going to come and burden you with what I've got going on in my life, knowing that you've got things of your own that you need to sort out." And his answer was something that really hit me, and I will always carry this around with me as well. And he just stood there, he looked me in the eye, and he said, "Liam, I'd rather listen to your story than have to listen to your obituary." And I was like, wow, that
so
really
true.
hit me.
That's a hard one, but it is so true. It's like, because you never know if someone's like at their limit and they want to be done with everything. And that's somewhat like what happened in my case, but not with me personally. It was with my friend, and I actually ended up stopping her from doing something like that. I happened to walk in at the right time, and I had a long sit down with her, and she said no one was listening. And I was like, "But you never reached out to me." And then she said, "Because I don't like telling people my problems." And then I was like, "Listen, you're family now. You're fucked. You might as well tell me." Because you can't hide the truth. I was like, "You got to tell me, man. You can't just not, you can't just not tell me, because if something's going on, I want to know. I mean, if I'm able to do anything to make your day better, I mean, hell, tell me, and I'm there." Like, if you're scared to go somewhere by yourself, I'm a phone call away. I'll meet you there.
And
I'll meet you and go with you.
And I think it's important to everybody to have someone like that. Someone that is just going to turn around and say, "Listen, you need to go somewhere and you don't feel up to going on your own. fuck it, I'll come with you. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
you need to sit
You
on the
got to have
phone
that one
till.
person in your life.
Hmm.
Like, oh, I'm in this state. Oh, that's okay. Here, hold on. Let me look up how much a plane ticket is. I'll be there. Oh, express. Okay, that's fine. I'll be there in 2 hours.
But do you know what? I think, speaking from personal experience, what I found is when you do start to do that and you do start to reach out to people, you know, we always say it's important to have that one person there that you can do that with. But when you do actually start to do it, you'd be surprised just how many people will actually do it. And I'm quite blessed in that, you know, I've got a lot of people that I could turn to. I've got a lot of people on the Twitch platform, yourself included. I've got a lot of
Yeah.
people in my personal life that I could do that with. Um, and, you know, it goes back to what John had said to me there. Like, I'm very much the same. You know, if there's, and this is actually, you know, directly to the community, you know, if there's anybody out there that's going through something, I would much rather have to spend 5, 6, 7 hours on the phone to you, you know, up until 5 o'clock in the morning, and I've got to be up at 6 for work. You know, I'd rather do that than in a couple of weeks' time find out that something had happened, because then it would be a case of I'd be like, well, maybe I could have done something about that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like I'd rather spend like as much time on the phone with you than sit there for 2 hours at your funeral
Yeah.
because I didn't do something. And that's the one thing I always say. It's like I'd rather talk to you and make you feel like you're loved because you are. And that's
Yeah.
the one thing I say to everyone is I love you. I say that to you. I say that to anyone. I'm like, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you love me back. I'm gonna still love you.
Well,
We
you
can
say,
have a love-hate relationship. That's fine with me.
hold on a minute. You say that to everyone? I thought I was special.
I love you just a little more.
But no, do you know what? I think that that for me is one of the things that I like the most about the Resident Evil community, because I know that everybody, you know, the Metal Gear Solid community probably say it about the Metal Gear Solid community, and you'll get the Silent Hill community wanting to say it about the Silent Hill community. But ever since I joined Twitch and became a part of, you know, the Resident Evil crew, like I've genuinely never met such a supportive group of people. Yeah, again, like
Yeah,
we,
that's the best thing that you can ever feel is like when you find that community, and then it's like if one person sees that you're down, it's like, oh, not just one person. You got like a whole crowd of people. Like,
yeah,
why are you sad?
exactly
Like
that.
they're ready.
So, speaking of which, Resident Evil, why for you? What is it about Resident Evil for you that makes you keep going back to it?
Well, I love how like when I was a kid, we had the Resident Evil 2 on disc, and then it went bye-bye. So then I decided, hey, I want it again. So then we got it for the PlayStation 3 when they had it where you can buy classic games.
Yeah.
And what I like about it the most is where it's that actual survivor horror. Like, I know that they're kind of bringing it back now, like how it used to be, but obviously, like, no fixed camera angles like what we had back on, like, the 1, 2, and 3, which I loved. And I still love that. And I just love the story. I don't know why, but I love the stories. Like, I love how it's like, it's puzzles. Like, you have to figure it out. If you don't know what you're doing, walk through YouTube. If you don't know it, someone knows it. Someone's done a speed run. I mean, come on. So it's like, hey,
right
I don't
here.
know what I'm doing. There you go. It's right there in front of you. YouTube.
And you know what?
But yeah.
That's something that you hear people talk about a lot these days as well, is when it comes to the originals and they go on about tank controls and fixed camera angles and
Yeah.
you know, oh, I much prefer the remakes. I don't like this about the originals.
Yeah,
and I don't
some
like
people
that.
don't like the fixed camera angle, and it's like, yo, you don't know what you're missing out on, man.
Yeah,
That
you know
it's
what?
the
I
little
think-
details that's beautiful. It's the most beautiful because everything's been like they did like hand painted and stuff. So like they put a lot of detail into it, which is what's beautiful about it. So it's like an artist did that.
Yeah, and the other side of it for me that I think people are very quick to forget, Resident Evil 1 was released in 1996. Like, the game's what? 27 years old? I want to say.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it is like when they first made it, when they first did, because I remember like watching something on this, when the guy had made the game, he knew, he was like, this game's gonna fail, it's gonna flunk, and then to his surprise it didn't. And as soon as they heard it was doing good, Capcom's like, come on, we need a second one. We need two. And then along came three. And he's like, oh wait, never mind, this is going against what I thought.
And I think what I liked about it the most was because I'm just about old enough to vaguely remember Resident Evil 1 when it came out. And it was like nothing, but for me personally anyway, it was like nothing that was out there at the time. And then when number 2 came out 2 years later in 1998, what they did with number 2, for me anyway, is they took everything that was good about Resident Evil 1 and made it better. And I was like, how have you just done that? Number 3, I would say it still sort of carried on with what was good about the series. I don't think 2 to 3 was as much of an improvement as there was between 1 and 2. But I do feel that they built on things, you know, like with the randomization being one of the biggest parts of it.
Yeah, everyone loves them randomizers, I swear. Hey, me included, I'm not complaining.
Well, you see, the thing is with RE3, like when you're playing through it casually, the RNG that's involved makes it brilliant because you never quite know what's coming. When you speed run it, however, oh my god, the RNG can be infuriating.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen your streams. I've seen like you ended up getting soft locked earlier today. I remember that.
Yep. There was one key particular point speedrunning Resident Evil 3 where that happened as well. And it was really funny because I was going through the park and people were talking about when you get to Dead Factory just before the water puzzle. Mm-hmm. And they're talking about, oh, if you get hunters down there, you can get stun locked and it can kill your run. They end up killing you.
Oh, no.
And I'm running through the game. I'd actually had hunters there a number of times and been able to deal with it really comfortably. Because you can, if you know what you're doing, you can deal with it quite comfortably. So I'm saying this to chat, like, you know, it's not as much of an instant death as what you all seem to think it is. You know, you can get hunters there. It's not ideal, but you cope with it. It's not difficult.
Yeah, it's not where it's like not doable. If someone's able to beat the mod, then you know it's doable. Especially if they did it without having like, you know, cheats and stuff like Game Shark and all that good happy shit.
Well, you see, what was so funny about this particular afternoon was I then get to Dead Factory, this hunter's there, so I'm like, right, here we go, guys. I'll show you now. I'll show you just how easy it is to deal with them. And I got stun locked and I got killed. Like,
and then you're the one like, no, it ain't gonna happen to me now. And the next thing you know, here comes happening to you. You're like, that didn't just happen. That didn't happen. You saw nothing. You see, I tricked you. I had programmed that to happen. So, haha. The joke is on you, not me.
So, I remember watching you a couple of weeks ago. I want to say you were playing, what was you playing at the time? RE2 Original. And you mentioned that, you know, speedrunning is something that you want to get into. Why?
Yes, it is. Because I love the thrill. I just want to be known for something stupid. Like, guys, guess what? I speed ran Finding Nemo, like stuff like that. I want to be known for something stupid. Like if I were to leave a legacy, I want it to be like everyone knew me as like the clown of everything, but like with humor. I want everyone to be like, oh, that's that one chick that did, you know, a speed run of Finding Nemo and she had fun with it. So hey, if she could do it, you could do it.
Erkaman's there in the chat. You want to be a speedrunner. Why? You see, the thing is, right, you know yourself, I've been a speedrunner now for, I want to say, around 2 years. And don't get me wrong, it's a massive thrill.
It gives you that rush of, okay, how do I do this? Got to get here quick. Okay, we got that. Let's go. So it's like you want to, it's like almost like a championship, like a competition. Who can get the first, like who can get number one? And me, I like competition. So it's like...
Well, I mean, obviously...
Don't mind if I do.
Well, you've seen my reactions to my speedruns. You know, you've been there when I've hit some PBs and I've gone absolutely insane because it is a fantastic feeling. I'm not gonna lie. I've had some PBs where, you know, I've been absolutely ecstatic. My most recent Resident Evil 3 PB. So I've been chasing down sub 47 for a long time. I've been going at it for a couple of weeks, and I just, I was building the pace, and then something would go wrong, or I just wasn't finding the pace to begin with, and I got really stressed out with it. Up until this one
Yeah.
particular day, I think I was on pace for 46:15, something like that. And I blew it at the final Nemesis fight.
Oh
So I
no.
got quite stressed out with that. I got a bit wound
Yeah.
up, but I'm sitting there and I'm saying, right, the fact that I've just found such a big pace there, that tells me sub 47's happening today. I'm not leaving it there. We go again. We're gonna run this shit again. And the run after, I think it was something like 45, 46, something like that.
Mhm.
So while I'm hunting down sub 47, I ended up hitting sub 46, and I
Oh,
went
nice.
wild. I mean, I went
Yeah,
wild.
because when you beat that original, personal best record that you had, and you beat it, it's like the best feeling ever. Because it's like,
Yeah.
I did it.
Especially
Like
when.
when I played Resident Evil 1, I had it on the DS. And
Oh,
my original one that I did, I had like an hour and like 3 minutes or something like that. And then I hit it at like 44 minutes. And I was like, let's see if
that's
I can do
some
better than that.
difference.
Yeah, so I was like, let's do that again. I want to see if I can do it. So I remember I was playing it and I kept playing it on repeat. I stayed up until like 4 o'clock in the morning, just replaying it because I'm like, come on, I gotta remember. And now I have it on the PC and I'm like, I don't remember not one damn thing I did. That's the most funnest part with it is like, oh, you know exactly where everything is, but then you leave it alone for a while and then you hop in like you're brand new. You're like,
Yep.
where was I again?
The speedrunning jobs count. My record is 1 week. I'm not so sure. So, okay, we've already established that you're going to go to speedrunning.
Oh yeah.
And do you know what? Having watched you for a while now, I think that's going to be fucking brilliant. Like, I can't
Yeah.
wait to see that shit because obviously, you're very energetic. You put
Oh
a lot
yeah.
of energy into your content.
Oh yeah. I'm energetic. I'm hyperactive. I have ADHD, so it's like I refuse to take my medicine because I know my medicine will make me look dead inside, and I'm like, that's not the person I want to be. I want to be myself. So it's like, let's go at this. Let's do this. And so I'm like all hyped up. I'm like, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this today. We're gonna get it on the spot. But then when I don't, I'm like, it's okay. We'll do it next time.
Well, do you know what? As long as you can keep that about you, you'll be brilliant with speedrunning.
Yeah, I love it. I love the rush. It's like, oh, I gotta have more.
Right. What are you going to go to first? What's going to be the first game that we see CloudiiRPD speedrun on Switch?
Resident Evil 3. If it's not Resident Evil 3, it's Resident Evil 2.
Damn, going
Mainly
right
because
into the big boy.
I just sort of kind of realized how to do Resident Evil 3 because when I was playing it in the first part, I couldn't find the fuse, and then I found out where the fuse is. So I'm like, I know how to do it now. Look at me, guys. I did it. I don't have to use the debug menu anymore. Because I used that for the longest time because I'm like, okay, guys, since I don't know where it is, I'm using the debug menu. And everyone's like, when are you not going to use it? I'm like, when I find out where to get the fuse. When I find it, then I won't use it anymore.
How did you eventually
like
find it? Was it just randomly or?
Yeah, so I had, you know how whenever you get the battery, you go down the elevator part in Resident Evil 3?
Yeah.
So I did that, and then I was like, okay, what's this? So then I like went in the room where the zombies are at that door, and then you like electrocute them. I was like, okay, they're dealt with, they're nothing. So then I messed with the puzzle, and one of the doors open. I didn't know what it was. I was like, what just happened? So I'm like, what's in here? And I went in there, and there was a fuse. I was like,
Nice.
and it's funny because when that happened, I paused for a good 5 minutes to sit there and think. And I'm like, I've been using the debug menu this whole time, and it was right here. It's right there. And I was like, oh, I don't have to go there for no Magnum because that's what I thought was only there was just a Magnum. Come to find out, the fuse box was sitting, and the fuse was right in there. I was like, oh, I should have investigated it a little bit further.
Cloudy in the chat. Cloudy in the chat. Shanky in the chat said, joining Cloudy's stream. Step 1, turn volume down 50%. Step 2, jump out of your skin when Cloudy streams. Very entertaining streamer. And do you know what?
Absolutely. I would, especially when I get mad. Oh my god, when I get mad, I'm right there ready to scream. I'm just like, are you freaking kidding me? Right there. It's usually like right there in front of you. It's one of those things that's hidden right in front of you. It's like right in plain sight, but then you're just like, I'm not gonna do it. And then it's like right there.
Or just mute Cloudy stream. Do you know what, Irk? I still
you know what? You did that yesterday.
I still don't think that'd help you. I still think somehow you'd still hear her.
Exactly. You can't just mute me and think that's all it's gonna take, homie. You're gonna hear me from miles away. I'll be right here, and you can hear me just states away. You're like, oh god, it's still ringing in my head. It's like she's right next to me.
Right, this one I'm going to be very interested to hear your take on it, and I've suggested this to a few people now. So I'm going to put a situation to you.
Oh no. Okay. All right. Hold on. I gotta get my roleplay mode open. Let's do this.
So every single Resident Evil game is about to go out of existence. Right? They're all going to go, and we're never going to see them again. But you can save one of them. Which one would you pick and why?
Damn, I'm gonna have to choose Resident Evil Outbreak because it's long. It's a long game, so it's not like I'm ever gonna get bored of it. So it's like, hey, if I do one thing, I can figure out more stuff for it. So Resident Evil Outbreak File 1 is probably my go-to. Because that was my first actual own when I was able to get a disc, like to myself, not shared between family and stuff. Because when I got my Resident Evil 2 and 3, it was shared. My first one was Outbreak, and I could play that thing on repeat, and it wouldn't bother me. Like, there's times where I'll just put it in my PlayStation and head over to the options menu and just let it sit there, just because the music is it has good music now.
You know,
it's so good.
I mean, I can understand why. I'm just quite surprised by that because I think that's the first time that I've had that answer.
Really?
And it's a shame because I do think that Outbreak is such a good
series. It's such a good game, and I'm waiting. Capcom, I hope you're listening. We need that remake. Come on, man. Come on, mommy needs it. Mommy needs that. She needs 1 and 2 now. You failed me on 3. That's fine. You don't want to do 3? You can keep 3, but 1 and 2, come on. Give it to me. I'm all for it.
You see, the thing, I do think that Outbreak is a very underrated title. I think the problem that it had was that I think what they wanted to do with it at the time was a little bit. They were trying to get a little bit too ahead of the times because obviously the idea was it was going to be this online co-op multiplayer.
Yeah.
And we all know the PlayStation 2, it wasn't built for online play.
Yeah, it wasn't.
You know, it had network capabilities, but they were god awful. Like really, really bad.
The lag is
I think
when we had the PlayStation 2, we had online mode, so we had like 2 separate PlayStations in the house to play it. And even though we were in the same household, the lag, oh my god, it was so bad. I was like, this lag's gonna drive me crazy.
Yeah.
Like, it was so bad. It was on the same network and everything. I was like, I don't understand what the problem is.
I just think it was a console that wasn't. I just think it was a console that wasn't built for online play. And to be fair to them, you know, when you went from the PS2 to the PS3, they sorted that out in a heartbeat. The online capabilities when the PlayStation 3 came out were really good. Hey, PJ, welcome on in.
I absolutely love her. Oh.
Personally, I think what they should have done was Outbreak and Operation Raccoon City. They should have done the other way around. I think they should have brought out Operation Raccoon City when Outbreak came out. And brought out Outbreak for the PlayStation 3. Because I think if they would have done Outbreak on the PS3 when it had the networking capabilities that the game needed, I think it would now be a lot bigger than what it is.
Fun fact. Now, I've played every Resident Evil except one title. Operation Raccoon City.
Oh,
I have
really?
never played it. Yeah, absolutely. I've never played it. I went to go on the Steam store to get a hold of it, and Steam was like, nah, 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 and my soul died. I was like, it's right there. Just out of my grip.
Yeah,
Come back to me.
I still want to know what went on with this because like, I
Yeah, I
think I
think it
got
was like, I think what it was is it was the network capabilities, from what I've heard at least, is that the online play was like apparently very bad, from what I've heard. So I think that's what happened, and Capcom was like, okay, no one's gonna buy this. We're gonna bye.
Yeah, I mean, I managed to get a hold of it on Steam not long before it suddenly became very rare. And you can still find it.
Yeah,
You can still get a hold of Steam keys for it, but you're gonna have to pay through the nose for it. You're gonna have to pay an amount that's just ridiculous. That I'm sorry, it's just
yeah,
not worth it. I think I got a hold of a copy for. I think I paid £30, but I got the deluxe version, so I got the the DLC with it as well.
yeah. I went like I found a copy of it. And it was for sale, but oh my god, they want $1,000. I was like, do I really want to invest my money in this game? Do I really want to do that? I'm like, you know what? If it's still for sale later on, maybe. As long as it's for Steam and it works in my region, I'll hop right on it. That's fine. It's not like I've spent a massive penny for a game before. It ain't my first rodeo. I've spent like there was one time in my life, where I spent $1,600 on one game. And I don't remember the game. It was this it was like for the GameCube, and you could find it. I don't know if anyone knows the name of it, but it was a rare GameCube title, and it was like as if like the food chain was all in one game, like with Animal Wise, the Animal Kingdom stuff, and it was like cube something. It was like Z Cube or whatever, and that game came in the shop, and I was like, I'm gonna look up that game. And this was before, I got ownership of everything. So this is when I was just an employee. So I'd seen it and I was like,
Run!
You know what? I'm going for it. And I spent $1,600 right on the spot. I said, I told my old boss, I said, listen, I'll give you this much. And he's like, I don't know, it's pretty expensive. I was like, how expensive are we talking? He's like, this thing's worth like $3,000. I was like, I'll give you $1,600 up front. And he's like, okay, I'll do it. So then, I ended up giving it. The most expensive amount. That's the most expensive game I've ever bought in my life. But I was like, you know what? It was worth it. It was rare.
I mean, I'm just absolutely gobsmacked that you paid $1,600 for a game, and yet you don't know what that game was. Because I'm telling you now, right? If I spent that kind of money on a game, I could have spent that 10 years ago. I would still be playing it now. I'd be taking it to work with me. I'd be taking it to the shower with me. I'd be taking it to bed with me.
I mean, to be fair, I did play it. I played it a little bit. It was a little interesting. So it's like, I don't know how to explain the gameplay. So it was like you're a snake and you hunt a rat. You eat the rat, you become like leveled up. So it was based on levels. Whatever you ate, you'd level up to like whatever stage is next. So let's say, oh, I'm a dog right now. Here you go. You're upgraded to a lion or something. So then it was like you eat one thing, you gain a level, you eat another, gain a level, something like that. From what I've understood playing like the first 10 minutes of it. So it was like, and then I just let it run on the TV. Everyone's like, what game is that? I was like, it's a game you can't touch. That's a pretty penny.
Well, I'm not surprised you won't let anyone else touch it for that price. Damn, if I paid that kind of money for a game, not only would I not be letting anybody play it, whenever I weren't playing it, I'd be having an armed guard standing in front of it.
Like I let people play it in the store. I was like, listen, I will let it be up as a demo, and I would leave the controller there. And I'm like, listen, you can play it, but I'm not going to sell it because it is a very expensive game, and I will not let go of it unless I get like a better deal than $4,000. If someone were to offer me $5,000, I would have. All right, here you go. Because it wasn't just the game. It wasn't just the disc. It was complete in box with the concept art and everything. So it was more of that high amount of like, it's got extra stuff to it. I got to have it. And because everything that I looked up on eBay, because that's what we used to do, is look for prices on there before we started doing price charting, which is what I do in my shop now. We do price charting for looking up how much a game sold for, the last amount it sold for. That's the price we're going off of. and like they would have like the complete in box, loose copies, or just the cover art itself. Because there's people that sell just the manuals and stuff, and it's like, oh, I have this game, but I don't have the manual. Hey, head over to eBay, they got it there. I mean, hell, someone's probably selling a pair of socks on there that was worn by Justin Bieber. Trust me. You'll find anything there.
So this particular one, then, it was more like a collector's item. So.
Yes, exactly that. So it was like I have to have it. It's like a must-have for me. If I don't have it, I'll cry. It was funny because me and Ben were fighting over it because Ben was like, "Oh, I'll bid 1,000." I was like, $1,600 on the spot, and Ben's like, "I can't beat that." Man, it was funny because now Ben's my freaking he's my repair guy. So it's like, "Hey Ben, I need you to fix a console for me." He's like, "Can I have the Z Cube?" I think that's what it was called. Was it called Z Cube? I think it was. Hold on.
I feel like you're gonna have to find out now. Curiosity is killing me.
It might not be Z Cube. It's like something.
Quickly list socks on eBay.
Like so, it's not Zoo Cube. Like people would compare it to Zoo Cube. Here, hold up. I'll look up the.
The suspense is killing me.
I know. I gotta find it. I can't remember the damn name. Why did I look up anime? No, Animal. It's like the Animal Kingdom, but it was like as cubes, and it was so cute. It reminded me of Minecraft and everything, but it wasn't Minecraft. It's not Animal Crossing. It's something. It's something. I'll find it. I know I will. As you're talking to me, I'll be looking for it. Trust me, because I'm like curious to know what it was called. It was
I mean, I just feel like we can't move on to a new topic of conversation until we've got this answer. The world needs this answer.
Oh my god! Ah! Watch me message Ben. Hey, what was the name of that game I been on you for? I bet you that he might remember it. It's not Zoo Cube, but it was something.
You know that game that you really wanted, that you kept asking me for, that I outbid you on? What was it called again?
Yeah. Cubivore. That's what it was.
Right.
Like someone's selling it. This is like the other version of it. Just this game alone is $600.
Wow.
Cubivore. That's the game, because it had the snake on the beginning.
So...
It was Cubivore. It was such a good game, though. I loved it. Like, it goes up to like over $1,000 if you look. Yeah, here it is. Here's one for $1,000 right here.
Damn.
That game, like that's like 200 from like 200 less of what I paid. So I had paid $1,600, and this person's selling it for $1,400. Like that's how that they made little to no copies of that game here in the U.S. So it's like if you want it, you gotta spend that money. So that's the game that I fought Ben over. I was like, listen, man, I don't know that game. I don't know what the hell it's about, but I'm getting it. I will throw hands with you. But yeah, it is a good game. I loved it. I loved it for like the first 10 minutes I played it or so.
PJ says Googled it and just found it as you said it.
Yeah, it's like I was like, it's something with animals. It's like Animal Kingdom. I remember that. I was like, yo, I can't remember exactly, but I know it's like you gotta eat one person, eat another, and it's like the animal chain. It's like the food chain for the animals, basically. So it's a good game. I'm not gonna lie. Would I get it again? Probably not.
Well, I'm not surprised you paid that much for it in the past.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, the one thing about me in my shop is I'm good with negotiating. So if someone's saying that they're selling an $800 game, I'm always able to cut that price down by half. So if it's $800, I will get it for $400.
You know what?
It's funny because really Ben always tells me, he's like, hey, this person's not handing over the game. I'm like, hand me the phone. I got you.
Do you know what I'm now really curious about?
What's up?
I've been a professional salesman for the last 15 years. So now that you've just said that, I just heard that I will always haggle it down. I'll do that. I'm like, challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. Literally, I'm always the one to negotiate. Like, I don't know if you've seen the photos of like what we just recently got in shop, but I've got you. And this is what we just got in my shop recently, as of like a few days ago. Let me go to photos because I put it in one of the streams, and I was so mad about one of these things because I asked for Resident Evil 4. We spent like $60-$70 on it. Come to find out, it's greatest hits. It's not as good as the Black Label, but here's just a small section of what we just got in. That is just one big amount that we just got.
Wow. Jesus.
And then obviously you got Resident Evil 4 just chilling right there. And I was so excited, and I come to find out it wasn't what I wanted because it was greatest hits. I was like, how can you be so low to say that this is, and it's not even that, it was a black label. I was like, that's a black label, it doesn't even say greatest hits. How are you gonna sneak that in there? I was like, oh. I told Ben, hey, go find it. I know that we've got one over there in the shop. Go find it, clean it, and put it on the side. He's like, you gonna get it? I said, damn right I'm gonna get it because someone's gonna buy it, and I'm not letting them buy it. I need it. I try to complete my original collection of like disc-wise, and then obviously if it's ported over to the PC, I'll get it for the PC. I just recently got Resident Evil Survivor, the disc-wise, like complete. So I was like, I was so happy. I spent like, I think $350 for it, if I remember. I think it was $350 because it was like with the art and everything. So yeah. I was happy to get that. It's like the best thing I spent money on.
So I don't think there's very many Resident Evil games now that I don't own on my PC. Obviously, I've got the original 3. I've got the 4th. I've got all the mainline titles. I've got Code Veronica. Jesus, how many copies of Code Veronica have I got now?
See, that's the one thing I don't have is I don't have Code Veronica for my PC, but I do have it like physical, and I just got a video capture thing for streaming from my PS2. I just got to figure out how to get it to work because oh my god, I fixed it. The delay with the game itself, like when you move the analog up and it takes that long time to move, I fixed that, but now it's an audio issue, so it's like it's not one to see the other.
Yeah, I remember when I first got a capture card, I had that same sort of issue, getting everything set up so that there was no audio delays or no input delays.
Yeah.
I remember getting very, very frustrated with it. However, uno momento, let's see if I've still got it on here.
It was so frustrating because I was like, bro, I just like spent like $100 and something on this. Please work. And I know it's not my computer. I've got like a whole like a 3060 Ti sitting in there, and I'm like, that's got to work. There's no way in hell there's something wrong with my graphics card. So I did it with that, and it did it on my laptop.
There you go.
Ooh, what's that? What's this? Hello.
That is a link to my Google Drive for a PlayStation 3 emulator complete with Code Veronica. I have to warn you, it's the Japanese version.
That's fine. I don't care. I'll still play it.
Well, I think
thank you.
I think if you play around with it, there will be some kind of option to change the language on it. It's just obviously finding out what it is.
Hello, my name's Cloudy, and I will be your tour guide.
Well, I've never looked for it because I almost exclusively speedrun.
Yeah, I love Code Run. I actually have a copy of it sitting somewhere because I bought it physical. If you give me a moment, I could find it. Like I have the case. Oh, there it is. Hold on. I just bought this like complete and everything. I got it. This is the greatest hits one.
PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
No.
It's all prestige condition. I love you, baby.
Code Veronica, I've got the PlayStation 3 emulated version. I've got the Dreamcast emulated version. I've got the GameCube emulated version.
The Dreamcast.
I've got it on PlayStation 4. I've got it on PlayStation 3. And let's see where what's it?
There was one time when I was in the shop, which just got like pure PTSD on me. We had a Code Veronica come in. The customer gave it up. I cried. I'm not even kidding. I cried because I had to throw it away. We couldn't save it. And I sat there for maybe 3 hours with the cleaning machine, with the JFJ cleaning machine, the JFJ Easy Pro. I sat there for almost 3 hours trying to fix it. I was like, please, Claire, if you're there, give me a sign. And it would start. It was for the Dreamcast too. So I was like, come on, man, we gotta get this to work. I was like, Ben, go get the testing console from your office. I want it in here now. He's like, what happened? I said, I got it back. I'm doing surgery.
Okay, I'll tell you what.
Like, uh-oh.
I challenge you.
So Oh, you challenge me.
Yeah. I challenge you to find this copy.
What copy? I was so sad though. I was so depressed when I couldn't save it. I had to toss it. I was like,
So this is the Dreamcast
mm-hmm.
Japanese version. It is called Veronica. It's not called Veronica X, but it's the speedrun edition. Well, when I say speedrun edition, basically, if you want the speedrun edition, get the Japanese version.
Yeah.
That's what. Apart from Resident Evil 3, there's 3 different versions you can use on RE3. If you want the speedrun edition, you go to the Japanese one because the text scrolls quicker. There's certain little differences with the Japanese version that make things that little bit quicker over, say, the US version or the PAL version and things like that. The funny thing about that, though, is I've got that on disc. Don't actually have a Japanese Dreamcast version. Japanese.
Oh,
Dreamcast.
You got it just for the collector thing, just to say that you have it. You're just like, look, guys, look what I got. Can you play it? Nope.
No. So what it was, there's a lad that comes in my chat. He's quite involved in the Resident Evil community, actually. He's called Hunter.
Gotcha.
Hunter Rock. And
I think I saw Hunter earlier. I think he was in Matt's stream. I'm not sure if it's the same Hunter, but
it probably, if it was in Matt's channel, then it probably is, yeah.
Yeah.
But he'd been coming into my channel for a while, and he's going on about all these physical copies he owns, and he starts reeling off. He'd listed a couple that he had more than one copy for, and one of them was that Code Veronica on the Dreamcast. So I was like, I love Code Veronica. You know, I speedrun it. I've done the HD version. I've done the standard def version. I just, I run it on emulator so I can do it through my PC. And he says, have you ever thought about speedrunning it from original hardware? I'm like, well, I don't own it on original hardware. I don't own a Dreamcast. I don't own the game. So he says to me, look, would you be comfortable sharing your address with me in a private message? And I'm one of those, I'm quite open, I'm quite trusting. I'm like, yeah, sure, okay. So I sends him my address, and lo and behold, a week later, package comes in the post. Not only did it have that in it, it also...
Did it have a Dreamcast?
No, it didn't have a Dreamcast.
Oh, man, I was like, man, that would have been like...
Well, it had not only that, something that I didn't know existed, Resident Evil 5 for the PlayStation 3, but the Steelbook edition. Now, I knew the Steelbook edition existed for Resident Evil 4, didn't know there was one for Resident Evil 5.
Hold on. I think I knew about that. I have to actually look it up and look at it, and then I could tell you if I knew about the Steelbook. I think I might have had one of those come in. Yeah, I did. Is it like, it's this one, right? With the fancy little lettering?
Yeah.
I have that currently in my shop right now. I had Ben put it on the side because we need the actual game, because someone brought that in with a box and it was just in there empty. I said, Ben, I've got a spare copy of that. We'll put it in there if it's complete with the, everything it needs in there. Put it on the shelf for like 150 or something. He was like, I got you. I'm like, okay. Yeah, I think we've got like 2 of those, but I think we have one that's complete. I have it set in my other store in Brandon.
Yeah, it was just like, it really really blew me away though when I had that come through. I sort of had an idea of why you wanted my address in the first place, but I mean, I'm sure it's happened to everyone. We always get people that are like, oh, I can get you this, I can get you that, and a lot of the time you take it with a pinch of salt because you think it's just someone trying to be overly nice or trying to be like sort of overly bragging or something like that. And then when it turned up, I was like, wow, Jesus. Because he didn't want anything for them. He didn't say, well, you can have these for...
run into people like that, especially if it's a collector. They're usually like, they put a price on everything. But then you'll run into that one that's just over the top, awesome, loving, super cool. And it's like, I love and respect you, homie. No, I've never run into something like that. But I'm that person for everyone else. So whoever doesn't have that, I'm like, I got you, homie. I got you. I'm gonna do you a favor.
Now, eventually,
that's what I was gonna do for Matt with the Rule of Rose. I was like, listen, I'm willing to spend as much as I need to if it means me getting the game to you because I know you want it.
Well, eventually, I do want. I'm going to pick a console, and I do want every Resident Evil title for that console on physical copy. More for a display. The only reason I'm not doing it as yet, quite simply, the house that I live in isn't big enough for me to start collecting.
Yeah.
Hopefully within the next year or two, because I live in a I live in a flat, or what you guys would call an apartment.
Gotcha.
And obviously my little one's getting a bit older now. Eventually I want to move into a house. In a couple of years' time, I want to be looking to buy a house, and I think that's when I'll then start with things like that. But collecting things for a display and things like that. Because I've seen a few people do it. Matt being one of them. Obviously he's got that display behind him where he's got
I've seen
loads
that.
of different stuff. There's a couple of things on there that I'm pretty sure I was actually with him when he bought. I'm pretty sure he picked up a couple of those titles at one of the gaming festivals that we went to. Can't remember which ones. Although that being said, I was highly intoxicated for the majority of that festival. I'm not sure if you would have saw, but there was a picture. Go into Matt's Discord. So we went to this gaming festival called Insomnia. And
oh yeah, I've heard about Emmy was talking about that. See, if I ever were I don't know if that's like a thing where you can actually walk in there, like just as a person or whatever. But if I ever, because I have family in UK.
Yeah.
Like I have UK in my blood, but obviously I don't have that accent. But on my mom's side, I have people in UK, and I think it's like a few cousins and I think an aunt up there. And the one thing I said is like, I want to visit them one day because I know I've had people like, oh, you should go to UK. It's really pretty. And I'm like, God, that plane ride though. And I'm like, but it would be so worth it because then I'd be able to do all these cool things that I can't do here. And that's like one of the things I want to do is, go to UK, visit my family, say what's up.
I think I remember you mentioning that before, actually.
Yeah.
I want to say it's South UK.
Yeah, I've been there. I haven't been there, but I've been at that one place where it's like, I want to go. You're in that mindset where you want to go.
Yeah.
But then, like, I know I've been to UK once, but that was when I was a kid. I was like a little munchkin, if you will. So that's when I was a little goober, and then came back here because I was born and raised here.
Yeah.
But I went there to go visit family at one point in time. I think it was like for a funeral or something. I'm not sure.
Well,
but yeah, that was the first time I went there.
Well, if you get the opportunity to come over again, you'll have to make sure that you give us all a shout.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll definitely let everyone know because I know that's going to be like a day where everyone's like,
So yeah,
this,
so this festival that we'd gone to, it was day 2. So we arrived on the Friday. There was a group of us that went. I think this particular one, there was myself, Matt, Emmy, Snake, Peril, and Emmy's partner, Dale. So on night 2, Matt and Snake had applied for what was called a content creators pass. So on night 2, anyone that had applied for that pass and been accepted was invited to a private party. So
gotcha.
We all sort of went to where this private party was, and those of us that weren't going to the private party, we just went and found a bar. This was around 6 p.m. in the evening. Myself and Peril then decided, you know what, we're going to go into the city, because there was a lad, a member of the team, Nintendo, who worked in the city. So we're like, you know what, let's get a cab. We'll go and visit Nintendo. I think we got back to the apartment at 3:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
The following day, I was out of it. So we had plans for that particular day. You know, we were getting up at a certain time, eating at a certain time, going back to the event at a certain time. Could any of them wake me up? Oh God, no. Apparently Matt was slapping me with pillows. He said he jumped on me at one point. He got a cup of water and was throwing water in my face. I was just not for waking up. I'm pretty sure Matt at one point said, Liam, honestly, at one point we started to think you were dead. But they got a video. Sorry, not a video. They got a picture. And it's just me in bed. I've got no shirt on. I've got the duvet coming up to my shoulders. And it's literally just a video of me like this. I was gone to the world. Like, I don't know how much me and Peril had to drink when we went into the city. It was a lot. I know that much. The funniest thing about it was they then eventually get me up. So I'm like, right, I don't want anything to eat because I feel a bit sick. Give me 10 minutes, let me go and shower. I'll be right with you. We get to the event. This is about 11 a.m. And they're all like, right, let's go and grab a bite. And I'm like, no, I don't want anything to eat. I just had I think I just had like a glass of juice or something like that. Goes into the event, 11:30 a.m. Both me and Peril are really suffering. Like, we were really rough. We had a bad hangover. So we walks in, everyone's like, right, we'll go and see this, we'll go and see that, blah, blah, blah. And me and Peril are dragging ourselves along. So I just looked at her and went, are you feeling as rough as I am? She says, yeah. I went, do you want to go back to the bar and get hair with the dog? So we did. 11:30 in the morning, after drinking stupid amounts of alcohol the night before. First thing we did when we arrived, oh, come on, let's go and get another pint. Sort our heads out. I mean, it worked. It worked. We felt fine after that. Probably because we were then still intoxicated from the night before, but hey, whatever works.
Oh my goodness, I can't. See, with me, I hardly drink. I might have like a tiny little sip of a wine cooler, but I can't ever finish it because I have well, I can't really say I have issues with my kidneys, but when I was younger, I did end up in the hospital. This was during Hurricane Irma here in Florida. It was the worst time ever. We had to go to a motel because they forced us out of our house because we were living at a trailer at the time. Now we're, in a giant house that's a literal house. And I felt sick, like bad. And it was like in my back. It started in my stomach and it just kind of went up. And I was like, oh, this is... and it was every morning exactly at 3, getting up, feeling nauseated. And so then one day I was like, hey, can someone take me to the hospital? And they were like, what's wrong? I said, I'm delusional now and I need to go. So we ended up going. And they kind of went ham on my family, was like, what was she drinking? And they were like, oh, she was drinking soda. And so then they were like, yeah, it kind of left kidney scarring on her because she drank too much. And then then they were like, she can have stuff when she hits like 21. She can drink some stuff, but like she has to follow it behind with water. So then obviously that's what I would do is I would get a wine cooler, and it was the Jamaican Me Happy. It's the one I always went with. So good. So I'd get that. I would drink it. I would drink maybe like this much of it and be like, too much for me. And then I'd like hand it off to someone. Here, take it. I'm not drinking it. And then I'll get water and, drink it down. And then immediately have to go to the bathroom. Like, I gotta go to the potty. See you guys later. That's basically how it happened. It was so funny.
Do you know what? That's what I love about meeting people on platforms like this. Is just when you get waffling away and some of the stories that you come out with. I mean, there's plenty more like that one. I could tell you, plenty more.
Yeah.
I actually remember the first time that we went to Insomnia. It was basically the same group of people minus Peril. Peril couldn't make it to this one. And when Matt and Snake went to the party, myself, Dale, and Emmy all just decided to go back to the apartment. We just said, we'll chill out in the apartment. We'll have a couple of drinks. We'll get, say, like a set of cards or something like that. So we go to the shop next door, and I bought 8 cans of Guinness. 2 hours later, I'm like, yeah, I'm empty. I'm going buying more. So I bought another.
That's usually how it happens. You're like, oh, I'm out. Okay, all right, guys, I'll see you later. I'm going to the store. I gotta go get some more.
Well, I think I ended up drinking about 20 cans of Guinness on top of however many pints I'd had at the festival. And the funny thing was, the funny thing was, I woke up the following day and I was fine. Like, I was completely fine. I don't know how it happened.
Yeah, I would have expected a hangover.
Well, I was doing. I woke up in the morning and I'm like, okay, I feel fine now. It's going to hit me later. And it just never did.
It didn't? Oh my god.
I was quite lucky with that one.
That's surprising. Oh my goodness. I cannot. See, my sister, she drinks all the time. So we're like, hey, you're going to become an alcoholic if you keep drinking like that. Like, she drinks like she has to have a drink every single day. And it's like, oh my goodness. I can't with her sometimes. And there was one time where she was drunk and she was like, I'm telling you, my sister, when she's drunk, is hilarious because she don't know what she's saying. And so, like, I had to walk her to the bedroom to go to sleep. And she was like, stop hitting me. And I'm like, I'm not hitting you. I'm walking with you. She's like,
So we've
she
got
didn't
a
know what she
question.
was saying.
We've got a question in the chat from PJ. So PJ says, do we know where the lovely lady got her name from and what started her streaming? The floor is yours.
Okay, so I have a thing for nature. I love nature, so you would normally catch me looking outside up at the sky just because I love seeing clouds. I was like, clouds. It's got to be clouds because I like anything with clouds. So I was like, okay, cloud is it. That's what's happening. And so I chose it. And then I went with it, and I was like, okay, cloudy. I was like, cloudy with a chance of meatballs, cloudy. So I was like, okay, we're sticking with cloudy. And then RPD came along because I was like, I had ran into Matt, but I also liked Resident Evil, so I was like, man, I don't want to do it unless like I like asking permission to do things. I will never do something without permission. Yeah. And Matt was like, I don't know why you're asking me. I was like, because you got the name first before me. I was like, I mean, with your permission. He's like, yeah, you're fine. You can do it. So I was like, okay, cool. So then went with CloudiiRPD because I was originally the Cloud Games, or I was Cloudy Games is what it originally was. Then I went to the Cloud Streams, Cloudy Goobs, and then CloudiiRPD.
Nice.
So I went through a long chain of name changes. And the one thing I wanted to do, because I love scary games, was we're going to be a horror streamer. That's exactly what I'm going to do. But normally you'd catch me, playing Resident Evil. And then if it's not Resident Evil, it's Dead Rising. And I remember Matt rated my stream when I was playing Dead Rising and I was singing the credits. And I almost triggered my pot syndrome. I was like, oh no. I was like, okay, guys, I can't sing it anymore. I ran out of breath and my heart's like, I was like, calm down, baby, calm down, you're good.
Here's a fun fact for you.
What's up?
When Matt became partnered on Twitch, do you know the first person that he raided as a partner?
I don't.
That would be me.
Really?
It was. I mean, to be fair, I think I'd known Matt for about a year at the time. I want to say, give or take. Not far off a year, if not a year exactly. And I remember this happening, actually, because I had this whole speech planned out for him. Right? So he raids in, and I'm like, gave my usual introduction and all that kind of stuff. I mean, the majority of people from that stream know who I am now anyway. I always start off by saying I'm that dickhead that thinks he's funny and just takes the piss out of Matt all the time. But then I says to him, look, obviously, big congratulations on the news. Found out a couple of hours ago. We all know that you've worked really, really hard for it. You've put a lot of time and effort into your streams in order to get that partner status. And for you to finally get it now, it's brilliant to see. So I think I speak for all of us here when I say that I want to be the first one to say, fuck off, Matt. It was perfect.
Yeah, and it went from that to Katie saying it with her Mia voice. Fuck off, Matt. And it's like
I think the best one for me was Nick Apostolidis when he was on. Nick is such a stand-up guy, by the way. Like,
yes. Oh my god. See, one day I don't know how to do it, but one day I do want to have Nick in my stream just to be there. We're like, hey guys, I got Nick. He's cool.
Well, I remember the first time that he was on Matt's channel. It was the second anniversary. It was either the first or second anniversary of Resident Evil 2 Remake. I want to say it was the second one, actually.
Gotcha.
And he just came into the chat and started speaking away to everybody. And after about half an hour, Matt's like, I recognise that name. So it takes me a minute or two, and he goes, Nick, is that actually you? Like, is that the Nick Apostolides? And he's like, yeah, it is. Fast forward a couple of weeks, and Matt's got him on the stream, and he just seems like
Wow,
such.
that's just how quick it happens. It's
Yeah.
like, bam.
Well, he just seems like such a down to earth kind of guy, like the type of guy that
Yeah.
you could see in a bar and just end up having a drink with, speaking away like your old mates. Now I do remember. Oh, how long ago was this now? I do remember I had Joe White on my channel at one point. Joe White being the voice actor of Chris Redfield in RE1 HD remake. And he's the same. Like, I'm pretty sure Joe's, he's got a few years on Nick. He's quite a bit older than Nick. But oh my god, that stream was so funny. I'm pretty sure he called me a cunt at some point. I can't remember
Yeah,
why.
see, I love running into all these OG people. It makes me so happy to know that they're like, because you know that you have some of those voice actors that's like not wanting to talk. They won't talk to fans. But then here comes Resident Evil voice actors like, hey, how willing to do it? Hey, how you doing?
I think what I
Which
like
I
about
love.
I think what I like about them the most is that they don't seem to let anything get to the head. Like they are
Yeah,
very much
exactly.
still just normal people who were given a job.
Yeah. So like when it's funny really because I remember I was I think I had just got done watching someone stream and oh sorry. I had noticed a name that said OG Brad Vickers. I was like, is that the real Brad Vickers over there? I was like, is that the one I'm thinking of? So I was like, you know what? I'm hopping there. I hopped in. Here comes Lizzie. Here comes Chicken. I'm like, whoa, what was I missing out on? And everyone's like, hey, Colin! I was like, hi. And everyone's all like, wait, you know her? It's like, yeah! So I was like really happy to run into Brad. And then it was like Evan. I was like, oh, that's the Evan Saba. I was like, oh shit. Hey, how you doing? Obviously me being nervous, I'm like, hey, it's a big guy. Oh, no. Because usually when it's a voice actor, I get nervous. I'm like, I better not make myself look like an ass. Oh shit, you're making yourself look like an ass. Which is what I tend to do, especially when I get excited. Like, I won't think about what I'm doing, and I'll just do it. And then I'll be like, oh no, I should probably not do that. But I did that, so I was like really happy to actually, meet him. And then like anytime I played Resident Evil 3 randomizer, I was like, hey, I remember I told him one time, I was like, I'm sorry, but I left Brad behind and ran. And he's like, how dare you leave me behind? I was like, I didn't do. It was more of it's funny because I remember what I said. I was like, Brad, help me. And then Brad's just getting his ass kicked by Nemesis. I said, by help me, I mean you make a distraction while I run. It worked so perfectly because Nemesis was just eye focused on Brad and I ran out. And then like after that, here's like it went to the next NPC, and then Mikhail's just standing there like wiping his face, and I'm just like, Brad's in there dying. I just want to let you know that he's probably dead already.
PJ
so first thing I did was apologize.
PJ says, I've been raided by Nicole Tompkins and Neil Newbot. Is Neil Oh, don't tell me it's going to come to me. It's going to come to me.
Hold on, I got you. I'm over here like
Heisenberg, I want to say. Because I know the guy that plays Heisenberg is on Twitch.
If I were ever, I know it ain't going to happen, but your girl got wishes. If I were to ever get a voice clip from him, of him insulting me, I can die happy. Just him insulting me. Just him insulting me. No weird shit. Just him insulting me. That's the one thing I want to be known for is people can insult me because I love it. Because remember, in my stream, if I insult you, it means I love you. But I will never do a hardcore insult where it will hurt your feelings. I'll just be like, hey, you're being a bitch right now. Start it with a laugh and then just be like, that's going to come back on me later.
See, I think that's that's what I like though about these newer people, the likes of Nicole, Nick, Neil. They are still very much fans of the franchise that happen to be able to get involved in it.
Yeah, like I know that the lady of Lady D. I know that I think she does Twitch streaming, or it's the one that voices one of the daughters. But I think so, anyways, because I know I've seen it on YouTube of them like playing the game and Lady D like redoing her lines like right there on the spot, and I'm just like, man, to be that good, it's like,
Well,
I want to be there one day.
I know that one of the sisters, because obviously one of them is played by Nicole.
Yeah.
And the other one, I can't think of her surname, but I think her first name is Andy. And she's been on, I'm pretty sure she's been on Nicole's stream a couple of times now, actually.
Yeah.
And then obviously you've got Nick and Stephanie, Leon and Claire. I know they're, well, I know Stephanie is.
Yeah.
I don't think Nick streams too much. He tends to, from what I can see, he tends to like get involved with the other actors more so than actually stream himself.
Yeah.
He was saying at one point that, you know, he does want to get into it, but
yeah, I remember him mentioning that in Matt's stream. He said, "Yeah, I want to stream one day," and then everyone was like, "Hey, we'll hop in and watch you." And I was like, "Hey,
I just don't think that the guy's ever got any time to do it. Like, it seems that he gets finished with one project.
Yeah, because he's always busy. Yeah.
But I know that the guy does. He does a lot of charity work overseas as well. So whether or not he's ever going to be able to get the time to come to streaming or not is remains to be seen. I hope so, because like I say, he's a stand-up guy, Nick. I love Nick to bits. He's so funny.
Yeah, it's so funny. I remember I was there when he was playing Resident Evil 5 with Matt, and Matt used the first aid and he wasn't near him, and he's like, "Did you just use that first aid?" And Matt's like, "Oh, you weren't near me?" He's like, "Yeah, he didn't tell me you were gonna use it." And he's like, "I'm gonna remember that. I'm gonna keep tabs on that." And then Matt's like, "It's okay, I owe you." And then Nick goes, "You owe me a lot." Tabs. I remember that like fluently of what he said at that moment. It was funny. Like, it's funny though, because when I see a voice actor, it just reminds me of what my future goal was when I was a kid. When I was a kid, this is a fun fact. Sorry. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a voice actor. I wanted to, with everything. And what got it started was Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 2 is what made me want to be a voice actor, like hardcore. And then it went from that to Metal Gear Solid. I was like, man, I want to do this. And it's funny because Urka, as a matter of fact, you've heard it. My voice acting skills can be, I can do like emotional stuff if I needed to, like on the spot. So like when I see all these voice actors, I'm like, man, I want to do that one day just because I know it's fun. And it's like, I want to do that because it looks fun. I want to have the path to yell things. And it's like, that's always going to be a goal of mine. That's still going to be a goal of mine. That's the one thing I want to do when, like, I want to be able to hit that goal one day of just being a voice actor for anything. Even if it's something small, nothing big. Even if it's something small, that will work with me. Like, I know that you can't ever reach, like, too far up, like, for your goals. But I do know that, like you could get noticed, like, a little. Just a little. Yeah. But even though then it's still, technically I'd still be a voice actor in a way. Might not be a big one, but I still won.
Well, what I'd advise there, are you on Twitter?
Me on Twitter? Yes, I am on Twitter. But I don't normally post things on there all that much. But I've kind of been thinking about it. Because I know that whenever I would go live, I would post that I'm going live. But that's like all I would do.
Yeah. To be fair, like, I don't really use my Twitter for much more than, you know, going live posts and keeping up with what's going on in communities and whatnot. But I have seen, over the last couple of months, I've seen a few advertisements for like little little indie horror titles. Where they've been asking for voice actors. They've been asking for people.
Yeah, I would be that person. Because I can do emotions. I can do the screams. And it's funny because the screams, I'm not really screaming. But it's like it sounds like it. I say how it works with me is I would think of the worst thing that could happen, and I'm in that moment, and so I just imagine like someone coming up to me as a zombie, and I'm cornered, and that's it. And the only thing I'm going to do is scream, And that's all I think about. I'm like, put yourself in like the horrible situation. There you go. Yes, you're good. 100% scream. That is so true. Like, I actually, because right now we're working on a mod. I was like working on a mod trying to see what I could do because Urka knows about it. But obviously it's not going to be available for the public until I get it working. Excuse me. What I'm going to do is it's like a little fan-made thing. So it's like Carlos is almost like a babysitter, like how he does with Sherry. But it's going to be like some random kid. And the story behind it is that her dad is a RPD officer and she's going there to look for her dad. Because he's like, hey, meet me at my office. And so, you know, she's a little kid. She goes there and he's not there. And so who else is there at the right moment? You got Tyrell and Carlos. And Carlos is like, there goes the kid. There she go. Right, gotta go get her. So that's kind of how it starts off. So it's like a really fun thing I got going on right now at the moment.
Right. And do you know what? It would be Carlos, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it is Carlos. It's like, hey, he's gotta be Carlos. Hell, whatever. Listen, when I played as Carlos and he was shirtless, damn, made me feel like a little kid compared to him because I'm short as fuck, and I'm just like, man, if I look up at that, that's heaven smiling down on me. How you doing? I'll be your. My name's Cloudy. I'll be your tour guide. It's always gonna be that. It's like every time I'm put in a very good situation and I'm liking it, I'm like, I'll be your tour guide. Put your seatbelts on. We're in for a bumpy road.
So, in terms of Twitch, like, have you got any certain goals in mind for Twitch? Whether that's, you know, over the short term or long term, anything at all like that in mind?
What I want to do, it's like a very hard reach, but it's something I do want to do, is I want to one day make a career out of Twitch, because then it gives me more time at home.
Yeah.
Because I've got a relative here that's got a messed up knee, and she's pushing through, like, working all the time, and it's killing her knee. She just had knee surgery. And so what I want to do one day is help out with her so that she doesn't have to work so much. Because, you know, we're making payments on the house, and, you know, I know that people say, oh, when you think of Twitch, you're just thinking about money. That's not necessarily true. It's more of, yes, money is one of the big things, but giving entertainment to other people is another thing that I'd like to do.
Yes.
Because I know I can be a very funny person. And if you're not having a good time, I will make you have I'll be like, listen, I'll do the most dumbest shit right now if it makes you laugh. Like, I do that at work too. If someone's upset, I'm like, listen, I'll smack myself if it makes you laugh, man. Whatever makes you laugh, that's all I'm gonna do. I'm like, hey, if I see that smile, I know I'm doing a good job. So, you know, it's like, I want it's for the money to help out with family, obviously. Because, you know, she's hitting her 50s. She can't keep doing that forever because, you know, she's hitting those high ages. And I don't want her to be, like, unstable where she can't move anymore because she worked so hard with her knee. I want to be that person to help out financially so she's not struggling by herself. So it's like, listen, if you're down in that boat, I'm going to be down in that boat with you so that you're not suffering by yourself. And she's got, like, a lot of mental health problems. And it's like, I definitely don't want her, you know, stressing out more than she needs to. Because there's times where she'll come home, she'll stress immediately. Yeah. Like, over the tiniest itty-bitty thing. Like, that's how stressed she could be. Is, like, one thing misplaced, she loses it. She's got to yell about it. And it's like, I know it's stress. It's stress that's killing her because she's stressed about her knee, always hurting her. And it's like, I want to be able to help. That's the one thing I want people to know me as, is the helper. Yeah. I like helping people. Even if I don't get it back, that is perfectly fine, because just seeing you smile is enough of a reward for me. I don't want money. I don't want fame. I just want respect.
Yeah.
To be like, she was there, she helped out when no one else did, and it's like, I don't like watching people drown. I'm willing to be that boat for people and let myself drown first before anyone else. I'm the person I put myself first before anyone else. I'm like, listen, you're not gonna drown alone because I'm gonna be the boat for you.
And you know what? That's actually a really admirable goal. wanting to make something out of it, not for you, but for what you
for
could
other
then
people.
provide for others.
Like, yeah, because I had a relative one time say, because we had a jackpot here for like 160 or 160 million, I think, or billion. And someone said to me, if you won that, what would you do with it? I said, I would keep none of it. I would pay off this house. I would buy a portable wheelchair for my relative. I would buy a car that's able for handicap. I would give money to, the cancer research. Definitely, as a matter of fact, give to the orphan organizations that they have there for like adoptions and stuff. And then the children's hospitals, give back to the homeless if they're struggling where they don't have a place to stay and they really, really, really want the help. I would pay for them to have a hotel, at least for a year, long enough where they can figure out what to do. And then if they need someone to like reach out and be like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, I didn't have any kind of guidance as a kid, I'd say, listen, I got you. I got the best website that can get you there, and there's people willing to help you if you're willing to take my help. And if they are, I'm there for it. None of the money will ever be mine. Maybe like 100 out of it, and that's it. 100's all I want. Out of that 160 billion, I want to give it back to everyone else and myself, because regardless, it is good money. I could use it, but there's people that need it more than me. And I don't want to be known as the snobby person like, hey, look, I got money. I'm waving in your face. No, that's not me. Because I've had that happen to me before. And that was when I was at my lowest. And that hit me, and it's like, you know what? There's people out there that's like that needs help. That really needs help. And I'm like, I'll be your help. If no one else is going to help you, I'll do it. I'll set an example that they should be setting.
Do you know what I think I've enjoyed the most about this conversation?
What's up?
Do you know what? For once, right, I'm actually being deadly serious. Doesn't happen often. And we sort of touched on this before. Like, you go into your channel or you speak to you in somebody's stream, and you just come across as this very, very happy-go-lucky.
That's what everyone knows me as. Bubbly personality is what everyone's like. Yeah, you got bubbly personality. You're ready. You're going in head first, like ready, like nothing's gonna stop your day, and that's basically how I am.
Yeah, and that's what you see first. You see the energy, the wanting to have a laugh and whatnot. But I think what I've liked the most about this conversation is you literally peel back the surface just a little tiny little bit, and there's a hell of a lot more than meets the eye with you.
Yeah, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I had a crappy childhood. Okay, I had a very crappy childhood. And so when I see someone struggling, it puts me back when I was a kid and I didn't have that help. Yeah. And it's like, I hate seeing that, because when I see that, it's like I'm seeing a mirror of myself. And it's like, no one stood up for me, so I want to do that for other people so that they know that, hey, you're not alone. If you're depressed, I'm here. If you need, like, help getting professional help, I'm here. If you don't think that you can get there by yourself and you need a ride, I'm there. Like, yeah. I've done that for people. I've done that for a lot of people. And I've taken people to, like, their appointments where it's like, I can't get to my mental doctor. I need help. And it's like, I got you. Here, hold on. I'll be there in, like, 30 minutes. And then I'll take them there. Because the one thing I want is them thinking, oh, I'm in the feet now. I'll never be able to get anywhere. And it's like, no, I got you. Even though you're struggling, I will struggle with you so that we struggle together, so you're not alone. I say that with everyone. You're not by yourself. I'll struggle with you. Here, I'll stub my toe, so I'm like, I'm struggling with you. Pain.
You know what? You said that then, and all I could picture was Metal Gear Solid 3 when you fight the pain.
Yeah. Pain.
Right, so in a minute or two, I'm going to move over to verse.
Okay.
Because obviously we had the conversation earlier. We're going to play a couple of games of verse. Guys in the chat, if anyone...
I'll probably just do one round of it, because I do gotta do stuff with family, because they're having a birthday party for me. Because my birthday was back in December, and we had forgotten to have it, because a lot of people had COVID. Now everyone doesn't have COVID, so now it's like, hey guys, let's do this. So,
I thought for a second then you was about to tell me it was your birthday.
No. No, my birthday was back in December.
Well, happy birthday from December. Um,
Thank you.
but just obviously, just really quick before we do move over to verse, is there anything particular that you want to sign off with? You know, any sort of projects that you've got in mind, any goals you've got in mind, anybody that you want to give a shout out to?
I do want to give a big shout out for Team RPD because you guys are what made me continue doing what I'm doing. Because believe it or not, I was gonna stop, and I started crying. I'm sure you've seen it. I started crying. I was like, if I hadn't have listened, I would have stopped.
Do you know what?
Which impacted me a lot. And I'm still gonna say it impacted me a lot. It made me cry. I cried on stream. I was like, I didn't think I was gonna cry, and I did. I started crying because it's like, I want to be that one day. I want to be in that group of people. I want to be part of the team. I want to make a difference in someone's life. Someone that's struggling, I want to be there for them. I want them to know, hey, you're welcome in my stream. I don't care who you are. I love you. Even if you hate me, I love you. I'll still love you. You could hate me, but you know you love me. Just a little.
And you know what? Obviously, we've got PJ in the chat there. She's also part of the team as well.
Yeah, I know, and I love her. She's so sweet.
I'm sure I speak
Major
for
love.
I'm sure all of the team will agree with me here. That just hearing something like that it's a very humbling thing to hear. Do you know what I mean? Because to know that just by sitting here being ourselves and playing computer games, that we're making a difference to other people's lives, it's such a nice thing. Yeah,
like when I met Matt, I was lurking in his channel. This is back when he played on the PS4. I was lurking. Never once spoke a word. Never signed in. Was just there. I don't remember what he was playing because I had him tabbed. But just him, the things he said was hilarious to me. I was like, man, I want to see this guy get somewhere because this guy's got it. And next thing you know, I ran back into him like last year. No, maybe like the year before. And then I was like actually starting to communicate within the community because I had met Emmy. I remember I was on my old account. This is when I mentioned about being part of the team. She was like, oh, we don't have any open right now. And I was like, but I was like, man, when it opens, I'm going to be there. And I still say that to this day. When y'all open for applications, I'm going to be there. I'm there. I'm all in for
it. Right. Well, how about we get some reverse going?
Yes. Are we keeping our cameras on, or are we going to go ahead and turn them off?
That's entirely up to you. I mean, obviously mine stays on anyway.
Yeah.